Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm starting off this stream. Welcome to Fabric Friday with Jeff and GIS Chops. Hope you have had a great week and hope you have a great weekend afterwards. So, I decided as people start filtering in that I would maybe answer some questions from last week. I mentioned last week that I'm going to have the legal description to the subdivision up and the curve table, so you can grab a screenshot of that and follow along as I go, because this isn't going to be visible as I type stuff in. But I mentioned last week, or it was brought up last week in a comment, that you could do multiple addition. So we're going to start a traverse. Still, that's up in the air for me. So somebody said, this mic's always in the way. Somebody said that you can do multiple statements in this entry grid about multiple addition and subtraction. So I'm just going to try a bunch of and see what this comes up with. Nope, it only does the first one. So you can't do multiple additions and subtractions in that distance entry grid. You can only do one. So the answer should have been 29, but it only, well, I put 10 plus 8 minus 2 plus 13, and it comes up with 2. So I don't know what's going on there with that. Let's try just 3. Nope, still comes up with 2. So yeah, I think it only grabs that first one, but I don't know why this one says 2 anyway, maybe if Amir's watching that, he can let us know what the deal is there. So that's still kind of questionable to me. I think you can only rely on the first statement of addition. So I hope everybody's doing well. Looks like a few of you filtered in, answered a question there. I thought I'd have a little intro too, where I talk about what I'm reading. So right now I'm reading Hunt for Red October by Tom Clancy. I don't know if you've ever read that book. Tom Clancy was a great author. He wrote really well and described technical things really, really well, I think. I wish I had that ability. So that's what I'm reading. And what am I watching? I'm watching right now, on my own, I'm watching Lost. I don't know if you guys have seen Lost. We watched it as it was airing. There was a lot of hype about it, and then we just kind of petered out on it. We never finished it. So I'm watching it again. I'm going to finish it. And my wife and I we started How I Met Your Mother, and we love The Good Place and Parks and Rec. So if you guys have any recommendations for me for reading or watching something, let me know. My favorite books are the Patrick O'Brien's Master and Commander series, Captain Aubrey and Stephen Maturin. I love those books. There's like 20 of them. I've read those through several times. I also like The Expanse. I can't remember the last name. Anyway, it was made a TV series on Amazon and FX. So if you work with parcel data, I would really like to talk to you about your experience, what you struggle with, what you feel works well for you. I do interviews. They can last from a half an hour to 45 minutes. I'd really like to talk to you, get to know you, do those for a class I'm taking, and I'm trying to gather some data. So if you'd like to do an interview with me, send me an email at gischops@gmail.com and we'll set up a time to chat. Also, when I started this, I wanted it to be kind of an interactive thing where people would send me plats and then I would do them. I've had to kind of go through and look for plats. So if you have a plat that you're struggling with or would like to see me enter, then send it to that email that I mentioned before, gischops@gmail.com, and we'll do your subdivision, and then I'll send it to you in a file database. Also, I wanted to show you a little tip before we jump into the subdivision. I'd like to make this a weekly thing, so I'm going to come here to create. I'm going to select a fixed point. I don't know if you guys were aware of this. So I've got a bunch of dummy, stupid features here that are all converging on this one point. So they're all, if I snap to, it's hard to see what I'm really snapping to. So if I click on that, this little icon comes up and you click that and it gives you a list of the things that were nearby. So you can, if I'm trying to snap to the lot lines, I can select it from this list and hit the check mark, and that's what I snap to. So I think that's a really good feature that they've added. And I don't know when that showed up. I just noticed it a couple weeks ago. So it wasn't with this latest release, 3.4. I don't even have that one on this installation. So that's a really cool tip if you weren't aware of that. Also, I'd like this to be kind of a interactive live stream. If you have any questions, throw them there in the chat. I see Jackson says The Expanse is excellent. It is. Those books, I've read those multiple times, and the books are better than the TV show. So if you like the TV show, you're really going to like the books. So let's make this interactive. Throw some comments in the chat. Let me know if you have a question, throw it in there. And if I can't answer it, I'll look into it this week and answer it next week. So let's get into this subdivision where I went to Salt Lake County and thought this subdivision looked kind of interesting. I forgot I was supposed to have these. I'll put these back up so you can grab those in a screenshot. That's only a partial curve table. I'll throw the next one up. But I thought this subdivision looked kind of cool because it looks like I don't know if you've been to Bath, England, where they have those crescent homes. All the homes are connected, but they're in a crescent, half a circle or a portion of a circle. They're pretty cool. They're in a lot of the old movies like Pride and Prejudice and Jane Eyre. We visited Bath a couple of years ago. It was really cool. But I thought this subdivision looked really interesting. And here's the rest of the curves. So, looks like my face camera is covering the legal description. Sorry. That's not what I want. There. I don't even know if you care. Let me know if you care about this in the chat. Or the comments if you're watching this recorded. Another perk to watching the live stream is you get to ask me questions. If you're watching it recorded, you're going to see ads. So show up to the live stream. Okay, I think that's long enough. Let me know if that's helpful for you. If not, we'll just get going. So this subdivision looks kind of cool. It's called Deer Run Preserve. I always think those names are funny. Like maybe there's deer in there. I don't know. But a preserve, really? I don't think it's a preserve. We're going to start with the basis of bearing here. I've got the two section monuments up here, one here, one over here. So I'm going to start with enter the ground line, and I get that from the subdivision right here on this basis of bearing line. So the bearing is, whoops. What happened there? And this will get everything lined up the way the surveyor did it. So I enter that and then I click on the from point and then the to point, and then that rotates and scales all the stuff that I put in later. So we're going to first create a record. And the mirror tells me that they're working on getting that basis of bearing attached to the record. So you open the record and it automatically changes your basis of bearing or your rotation and scale. That'll be cool. I'm just going to call it that and create it. So we're going to start a traverse. It starts at from the west corner, which is this one over here. So we'll click there. We're going to do connection lines. Whoops. And then south. So that gets us to our point of beginning. No, it doesn't. What's our scale? Yeah, our scale is double what it should be. I'm going to try that again. And it should. Wonder if that distance is off. No, it should be about right. See, here you go. You see me screw up every week. Now let's see what the scale is. Still 2. All right. I'm going to have to figure that out. Do you guys not like how the connection lines disappear and they only show up at... I know I can change that, but... Let's turn that off and see how far apart these are. Oh, that's why, because that's not the right point. I'm going to have to go look at my map. Oh, I closed the surveyor's page. So I thought this was the center, but they gave me the center. That's going to take too much time. I'm just going to not do the rotation and scale. I should check that more closely. Okay, connection lines. Now we'll see how we do. Do you guys care if I have my number keys on the camera, or do you want to look at my ugly mug? So that looks like it's probably a better spot than the old one. I'm going to do new and then change it to subdivision lines and just start going through the description of the subdivision. And this is going to be a lot of curves, and that's kind of why I picked it, so that we can really do a lot of curves. So this is a 175-foot radius, and it says the center bears, so I'm going to change my direction to be radial. That's the same as the center of the curve. So it bears 15.4450 southeast. And then I put 0 in there. It's to the right, so I put a positive number. Then I'm going to use the delta because they give me the delta in the description. And it's 24.0110. And I'm not seeing it. Oh, there it is. Wonder why it didn't show up. Have you guys noticed this? That Pro will do this. It won't draw features at certain scales. You know, I'd like to send that into tech support, but how do you duplicate that? You know, every time I put something in the forums, they say, have you submitted a ticket at tech support? I can't duplicate it. So let me know if that's frustrating to you guys too. So we'll stay at this scale where you can see it. And now we go 814340, and that's right. Got the right bearing coming out, 34.78 feet. South, 22.2704, southeast, 33.03 feet. See, it's not drawing it on the map. I don't know if it's because something weird's going on there. I don't know if I zoom in and hit refresh. Nope. I've seen others comment about this, how it's frustrating, but I've never seen an answer to it. If you know the answer, let me know. Okay, where'd I get to? There it is. Now we're back on another curve. I don't know if it's tangent or not, so I'm going to enter the radial. It's a 300-foot curve to the left. And the delta or central angle is 9.5233. That is just frustrating. 3227 southeast. Now we're on another curve. Center bearer is 57.33 northeast. And it's a negative curve, 221.62. See, I screwed up. And this is a big curve, 172.3802. So 172 degrees of curve there. So that took us all the way around. I wish this would draw right. I wonder if I go off of this map and back, if it will start. Oh, I lost my, that's another frustrating thing. I lost my traverse. So we're gonna have to do another start and set the closing to be there. Let's hope that works. All right, now I've lost my place. 25.0502 northwest. The description says to the right of way of Candy Pull Drive. How would you like to live on Candy Pull Drive? Nope, it's not drawing them. I'm sorry. Let's see. I keep losing my place because I'm worried about the drawing. We're back to another curve. Center bears 61.3135 southeast. It's 175. Almost did it again. 175 foot radius curve to the right. And the angle is 24.4708. And now we're on another curve. And it's 369 to the right. Angle of 22.1702. This is frustrating that I don't have the visual feedback. 2609.19, so that's not tangent. Now we're back to another curve. Center bears 63.5302 southwest. And it's a 366.5 to the right through 180 degrees. So that's another big curve. And then now I lost my place again. There it is. 26, 18, 32 northwest, 17.38. Now we're back to a curve. The center bears 70, 27, 34 northeast, and 369. And an angle of 21.4337 to the point of beginning. So we got a 0.01 closure rate. So that's pretty decent. So now we're going to save your edits. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but it's smart once you get something like that done to save your edits. Sometimes things happen and it causes problems, and then you've got to rebuild it. So save your edits after big entries. Now we're going to do PDF to TIFF. I don't like how long it takes to draw the PDF, so sorry, I didn't try to drag that off so you're not seeing all that my file system. Trying to find my PDFs I downloaded. That's why I projected something earlier. PDF to TIFF, that's what we need. All right, sorry, I should have had this open to the right spot. Did you know you can drag and drop into these from your file system? Oh, dang it. Okay. That PDF is added as a TIFF now. So I select imagery, georeference, fit to display. Now I'm going to zoom in. Hopefully it draws. All right. So I was holding down the space bar to suspend snapping, and it turned my layer off for a minute. I don't know if you noticed that. That's kind of a little bit of a quirk that I don't love. I suspended snapping because it was close to that connection line. I didn't want it to snap to that connection line. Now we got a tricky thing because everything else is curves. How do we georeference a point? I mean, I guess we can do this one where it's not on, it's a vertex. Should be close, except I have to Zoom out. I think I entered the wrong. Yep, that's the wrong subdivision. So we're gonna have to do this again. All right. Did I put 2 in there? Is that? I'm pretty sure this is phase 2. Oh, I did phase 1. Sorry. I intended to do phase 2. So that was less smart. All right, run it again. Hopefully having the same name won't give me issues. That looks more like the subdivision I entered. Really kind of ticked off it doesn't draw the boundary, but only at a certain scale. And I don't think I have scale dependency turned on. Oh, you know what? No, because it's showing that symbology here. I don't know. So we'll save that. Now we'll cut out this little right of way. You guys seeing more and more of these developments with very small lots? I mean, they don't even express it in acres. It's 4,100 square feet. So we're going to select the subdivision. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I might. This is frustrating. And I wonder if it's because I changed the symbology on all these so they'd show up better. But maybe I'll try closing this map and opening it again. Nope, still not drawing. Maybe I'll remove all of these and just not have the. So I think that. So it's going to go back to the default symbology, but maybe it'll draw. I don't know, is that drawing? Yep. So it must have been because of the symbology changes I made. And because I'm not using my ground to grid correction, it looks off. So that's unfortunate. I should have researched that a little better. So I apologize. Now we can break it up. I'm going to make it so I'm going to select my subdivision. Oh, I never created seeds and built it. That's why. Now I'm going to copy lines to lots. Make it so I can only select lots. And now here we need the curves. So that's curve 6 and 7. I use the divide tool. Use that mode. Curve 6 is 14.4 feet, and curve 7 is 58.96. And then we will divide out these. So curve 40, let's see, that's 30.09. Also, I don't want things labeled. Curve 39. $65.07 feet, and 38 is 44.77. It's the whole line. Here's that really big curve. So we'll start at this end. Starting out with curve 65, which is on the other sheet. This is one of the ways I speed things up too. I do take screenshots of my curve tables. Sometimes they don't all fit in one that I can read, so I do two. And I try to situate them on my other screen so that I can see both. So starting with 65, that's 40.88. Then 64 is 49.94. I didn't enter it. And hopefully it just follows down. Another thing I do is I just make sure they're sequential. And it's looking like they are. Then I just go for it. And this is a good example because there's a lot of them. So it goes down to curve 41. So I just start going from 63 and then just keep entering numbers all the way down to 41. And that's 41. Let's see how 48.72 feet off. Let's see where we went wrong. Looks like things start getting weird around here. So it's 48.72 feet too long. Maybe I missed one. Now I have to go back and try to figure out where I missed. So that's fun. Let's start with 41. So I'll bring this over here. 13.63, 39.89, 44.52, 49.87, 52.3, 46.6, 49.84, 49.84, 49.85, 49.87, 49.89, 49.92, 48.72, 63.1, 49, 50.03, 50.12, 50.16, 50.21, 50.25, 50.29, 50.33, 49.9, 4, and then 40, whoops, that's the wrong one. That's on this one. 40.88. So I entered those right. So I don't know what's going on there. Unless they're not sequential. I thought I checked. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, right here. I need to delete 52 or 53 because it goes 54, 52. So I didn't check that well enough. So that's where I went wrong. So 54 is 63.1. And then 53 would be this one, 48.72, right? Yep. So I need to delete that row. Now let's see. Yep, we're to 0. So if I would have checked a little more closely, wouldn't have had to do that. And you're getting everything raw here, so that's how I deal with my screw ups, is doing that. Because these curves are all after or on the interior, we don't have to divide another big line like that. So we got curve 8 and curve 9. Move this back off. Now this little trick that I used to clear all those entries. Let's click on another mode and then back. Curve 8 is 58.43 and curve 9 is 17.27. Now I'm going to start a traverse to enter that right of way. I'm going to start here and set the closing to be over here. So I've said this before, but this little line right here would probably foul me up if I was a beginner. I'm thinking that it's this line here continues 1.4 feet into the subdivision. So I'm going to add that and see what happens, and that's 42.2341 southeast, 1.4. Now I'm going to start entering my curves. Curve 1 I would think would be tangent, but I'm going to change it to chord bearings because that's what I have in the table rather than radial bearings. So curve 1 is a bearing of 1.5251 southeast, 0 for the distance, and then the radius is 20 feet to the right. If you guys have any questions, like whether a curve goes to the right or left, whatever, let me know in the chat, and I'll check once in a while. Looks like I got a super chat from Jackson. Thanks. Appreciate that. Canadian dollars too. That's great. But a curve to the right, I always picture myself standing astride the line in the direction I'm going. The curve goes this way, it's to the right. If it goes this way, it's to the left. But backwards for you on the camera. So that's, I don't know, if you ever have any questions like that, just let me know in the chat and I'll try to answer them. I'll check the chat once in a while. I've got the stuff on my screen sometimes that I can't see. So curve 1, 20 feet radius, and it's a delta of 81.0141. And again, I wish I didn't have to be a slave to those black lines that they give me. Then the outgoing bearing is 38, 37, 59. See, we're 1 second off of 38, 38. Like I said last week, ArcMap seems to get it right more often than not. So I don't know. I don't know what happens, if it's a rounding thing in Pro or what the deal is. We're going to go with tangent curves from now on. Curve 12 is 28 to the left, 63, 4302. Nope, that's not curve 12. I thought I was on this line. See, this is why it's curve 2 I need to enter, not curve 12. So because I screwed it up, I do have to enter the chord bearing, because now it's all messed up. If I tried to just keep a tangent, I think it screws up. So it's 646.29 southwest, 0, and curve 2 is a negative 43 radius and 63, 4302. Except I just it put TB on the end because it. So did you see that? Where did it go? It used to have TB in there, tangent bearing. So I need to override that with the chord bearing. I put CB in there to say, yeah, that's the chord bearing. Now it should work. So now we have the very black line on the black background. And the outgoing bearing is going to be right for once. And that's 104.42. Sometimes I'm annoyed by this cross-hatching because when you scan things, it doesn't come in very well. Hang on. So we're looking at curve 3 now. And that, I'm going to say it's tangent and try not to screw it up. The radius is 242.62 to the right, 172.3802. So that's a big curve. Almost half a circle. That gets me to here because you can't see the black line. 32.27, got it right. And curve 37 is to the right. That's on my other page. And it's a 37 to the right is 100 or 321. Yes. Got which box was the radius. Now we're going to go back to the left with curve 5. Of course, I've got to keep switching these if I don't align them right. Curve 5 to the left. It's 43 radius, 84, 51, 51. Line 2, 72, 33, 42. Got it right. 7.53. Curve 4 to the right. It's 20. And then again, another one of those little shorty lines that I'm I'm not sure of the bearing because, oh, it's line 1. See there, line 1. So that was on the bottom of that curve table. 1101.58, that's right, 28.38. So we're 23.62 feet off because I put the closing point. No, I put it there. I don't think I'm 28 feet off. I turn off that image. That's because line 1 is not 28 feet. So I needed to get line 1 for the bearing, but the distance is not the same. So the distance I messed up is 4.84, not 28.38. So there's another gotcha. So now we're 0.08 feet off, and that's kind of a big error for nowadays. But I'm pretty sure I entered it, everything. Well, who knows? Maybe I messed something up. So I'm going to make sure it closes with forcing it. Now we're going to do a new traverse. We'll see how far I get, and I may just continue. Oh, I never split this line. Curve 66. We'll start with curve 10. Then curve 68. That's 48.29. And curve 67. 45.48. And then 66 is 13.82. Now we'll start a traverse from here. I was kind of surprised last week. I don't know if you tuned in last week, but last week I did the same subdivision both in ArcMap and in ArcGIS Pro, thinking that I would be faster in ArcMap, but it turned out that I was faster in Pro. But I don't think that'll be the case with this one because of all these bearings are going to be different. And I'm going to have to click a lot for starting and ending points. So here we're going to start with curve 11 to the left. And that chord bearing for curve 11 is 49, 4150 southwest and 12.0458. Nope. I didn't put the radius. I'm just... And then this line it gives us a distance, but it infers that it's parallel to this line, I think. I mean, that doesn't look like it's a tangent line coming out of that curve, so now curve 12 does look tangent, and that's a negative 28 to the left, 63.4302. That's the curve I entered previously as curve 2. Now we've got a straight line, 250502, which is right. And now I can just hit enter for the bearing every time because it's the same bearing. I could hit enter 3 times on that one because it's the same distance, but I didn't. Now we're at curve 13 to the right, 257.62 radius. Now 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36. So we can go all the way to 36. And it's going to be the same radius. So we're going to be able to just hit star, enter, enter, enter. I think we'll probably have to enter the deltas. So curve 14. There we've got a bunch that are the same. So that's the same delta to 24. I really wish I could make these lot lines. Do I dare mess with the symbology? I'll just make it red. I won't make it thicker. Guess what I'm doing? Here's another screw up. I'm entering subdivision lines. So I'll show you how I fix that. So I change my selection tool to this. I make it so subdivision lines are the only selectable layer. Then I kind of zoom in on this area. And I'm really going to have to zoom in to get that one. So I just, whoops. I just want to select these inner subdivision lines because they're the ones I screwed up on and made them subdivision lines. Have to zoom in again. Now it should be easier. So because I had my traverse active, it only selected those in. I have to do that again. So it only selected the lines that I had in my traverse, which I didn't know was how things worked. So I don't think I'm going to finish this one. I'm going to have to continue this one next week. You guys have any questions? While I'm fixing this screw up. There. Now I copy lines to lots. And I usually use the selection thing that it leaves the selection up, but I wonder if my options, yeah, display the interactive selection graphic. Somehow that got turned off. I usually have it on. It usually leaves my little selection graphic up, and then I can just bump it and it selects things again. So I'm not going to delete those subdivision lines. So you don't have to watch me do that selection again. So I don't know when that got turned off. I leave that on. I like it. I know a lot of people don't like it. Let me know what you think about that. I like it because if I select one thing, I bump it just a little and it selects something else in the same area. So I got to here and we're changing it to lot lines. You guys are supposed to let me know when I do stuff like that. My closing is going to be right there. So I don't even know where I got to. I got to curve 16. So for 17, I'm going to have to enter looks like subdivisions are on top. So I turn that off. Now I got red lines. So I'm going to have to enter the chord bearing for 17 because I don't have a tangent line to go off of. So 72249 southwest, and it's a 257.62 foot radius curve, 7.5034. Now I can go all the way to curve 24 using that delta. So I'm just going to hit star, enter, 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 enter. So there's 23 and 24. So curve 5 is the same radius, but a different delta. Curve 25. Curve 26 goes back to 7.5034. And that's going to be that's going to get me all the way to curve 32. So what I'm doing here is I'm seeing that these deltas are all the same till there, and then I've got a different one. So I just can hit that star, enter, 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 and it will just automatically fill those in. What did I say I can go to? 32. And I don't know if you can see my little faint red lines, but they're getting put in there. And here's 32. So curve 33 has a slightly different delta or center angle. And that is 7.4301. So it's a little smaller. 34 is back to 75034. But then 35 is a little bigger. And 36 is a very small one. And Amir, he commented on last week's video asking if I wanted the small segments highlighted in yellow in Pro. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It wouldn't help me much, I don't think. I think for ArcMap they were there. Whoops, I'm not entering a curve. For ArcMap, it was there just to say, hey, you got a short line here. Is that what you meant to put in? Now we've got curve 72 to the right. That one is a 336.18850. See there, I hit a 5 instead of an 8, and I've done number key entry so long that I know that I hit the wrong one. Back in the early days, I would hit the wrong number and then not realize it, go through the whole thing and have to go back through them to know know which one I entered incorrectly. So can't have that minus in there. It'll screw it up. Curve 71 is 7.1039. Looks like it's 1 o'clock, so I'll just stop here and let you get back to what you were doing today. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Again, it would really help me out if you could sign up for one of those. Looks like I had my face camera in front of my entry grid. Guys need to let me know that stuff in the chat. So sorry about that. But I would appreciate if you'd shoot me an email and sign up for one of those interviews. That would really help me out. Another thing that would help me out is like what Jackson did, send me a super chat. Looks like the Canadian exchange is $2.79 for $2 in US. And so thanks, Jackson, for that super chat. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.